What's up everybody, I'm Johnny Omega back with a new review, this time talking about the Disney Plus show WandaVision, so let's get to it. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Wanda and Vision are living the ideal suburban life in the town of Westview, trying to conceal their powers. But as a newlywed cycle through the decades and familiar TV tropes, they realize that something isn't quite right. Now let me first start off by saying if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, and if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. In my reviews, I talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and then my overall thoughts. So this show kicks off Marvel's Phase 4 with both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany both reprising their roles as Wanda and Vision. My original level of interest with this show, like I'm sure it was with a lot of you guys, was primarily the fact of how different this show looked from everything else that we've seen so far with the MCU, and from that aspect, the show didn't disappoint. And from the trailers, you get the impression that you see these two main characters interacting with each other the way they do on TV shows from different decades, and that's exactly what you get. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and they harken back to the TV styles of old shows like Bewitched and I Love Lucy, and that can kind of be where some people might be divided on the show, at least at the beginning. Because if you don't like those kind of shows, then you're not really going to like what WandaVision gives you for the first 2 episodes. Everything from the camera angles to the laugh tracks to simply just being in black and white screams 50s and 60s. But in the midst of these 2 episodes that generally just seem like 2 old school shows, there are little things sprinkled here and there to let you know that something ain't right. And what's interesting with how that plays out is that as we're realizing something's not quite right, Wanda and Vision are realizing it at the same time. Now as far as what's good about the show, everything that I named previously they nailed perfectly. But as far as the negatives of this show goes, you're going to walk away from these first 2 episodes with more questions than answers. Now, I know the show has to play out more to fully get what's going on, but with the way that the show is starting off, it's definitely going to alienate the casual fan. Now, normally with the show, with a few twists and turns aside depending on what genre the show's in, you generally know what the show's about prior to you watching it. With this show, though, that's not the case, and you generally just don't know what's going on. You don't really know the point of the show or where anything is going, and that could be problematic in a scenario when you're releasing 1 show per week, because there's really no hook to keep the casual fan from coming back. The premise of this show is purely predicated on how invested you are in the MCU. The series seems to be starting off with a slow burn because as you're watching it and you're waiting to get to the good stuff you're expecting to see in something regarding the MCU, it never really comes. Now, I know I'm only 2 episodes in, but this definitely seems like the type of show that you want to binge watch as opposed to watching it piece by piece. Especially because there's no action in it, so when you walk away from these 2 episodes, you kind of feel like you just watched 2 random episodes of I Love Lucy. And maybe I Love Lucy isn't the best comparison, but my overall point is that you feel like you just watched 2 random episodes of an old school show. It's like I'm watching it because I know this is going to lead to something, and the only reason I know that is because I'm already invested in the MCU and I know there's shenanigans going on. But without the backdrop of the MCU already in your head, these 2 episodes on their own aren't really that interesting. And to be perfectly honest with you, if it wasn't for this channel and the fact that I need to be in the know with what's going on, I would probably just wait until all the episodes are on Disney Plus and just binge it then. But like I said, I've only seen 2 episodes, so for all I know, the 3rd episode could come out and turn everything around. So in conclusion, the performances of Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are perfect, spot on, exactly what you expect them to be in a scenario like this. From a story perspective, with these first 2 episodes, I don't think there's going to be a general consensus. You're definitely going to get a range of people that either say that they don't like it, or they love it, or they just think it's okay. The first 2 episodes definitely seem more like the first act of a bigger overall story. I just wish they would have gave you a little bit more in that first act. Now, I'm not going to give an overall rating until I've seen the entire show, but just generally speaking, I would say that based off what I've seen in the first 2 episodes, it is worth taking a look at. And even though I'm a little bit disappointed with how the show's starting off, I fully anticipate to be over the moon about this show when it's all said and done. But that's just my opinion. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought about the first 2 episodes. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button to see what's coming next.